Did you know that in Europe, the countries with the highest vitamin D levels on average are those in the far north, places like Sweden, Finland, Slovakia, Norway, and Denmark? These are places that are not getting very much sun. And then, on the other hand, you have places with much sunnier climates, places like Portugal and Spain. These guys have the lowest levels of vitamin D. What's going on here? Well, there's a few theories on why this paradoxical situation happens. One is that the residents of these southern countries tend to avoid sun exposure because the sun is so much more intense there, thus don't end up with very much vitamin D. Second one is that the countries further north are consuming a lot more vitamin D rich foods, so maybe getting more vitamin D dietarily. They might be having things like cod liver oil, for example, with some vitamin D. You can get a little bit from egg yolks and things like that. And then the other theory is that in these southern countries, people tend to have darker skin. People who have darker skin, higher skin pigmentation, meaning there's more melanin, it means that you're not going to make as much vitamin D if you spend the same amount of time out in the sun. So if you take like a very pale Northern European person and a more Mediterranean complexion person and put them out in the sun both for half an hour, the Mediterranean person is not going to make as much vitamin D as the far north, more pale complexion person. And I think one other possible reason could be that the people from the north, because they are so deprived of the sun during so much of the year, really flock to the sun when it is around. And thus they're able to build up a substantial amount of vitamin D stores to last them through a good part of the year. Now, back to your original question. Do you need vitamin D supplementation if you live in a sunny place? Maybe not, but probably. It depends on a variety of factors. Number one factor is, what's your vitamin D level? Have it tested. It's a fairly inexpensive test, and for the dramatic effects that vitamin D has on your overall health, I think it's one definitely worthwhile having. And then you can see, does your current strategy of simply producing vitamin D via skin exposure to sunlight work? Are you making enough? Are you in the traditionally acceptable range, or are you in the really optimal range of around 60 to 70, where you really get the most benefit from it? Now, what other factors could be at play here? Well, are you in a sunny region, but you don't spend much time out in the sun? Well, that's not going to be doing you much good. Are you in a sunny region, but you only go out in the sun early in the day or later in the afternoon when the sun is no longer high in the sky enough to be able to hit you with the UVB rays that you need to stimulate the vitamin D production? Do you always put on sunscreen when you're going out into the sun? That's going to block 99% of vitamin D production from happening, so that's not going to work. Are you wearing a lot of clothes when you go out in the sun? Or are you going out in the sun on a regular basis completely naked? If so, respect. And then what amount of the year are you able to get a good amount of sun there and get good sun exposure to the sun high in the sky so that you're going to be able to make vitamin D? Because let's say you're in Northern Europe in the wintertime. Okay, maybe you get a little bit of sunlight at a low angle. It's nice, still go out and see that sunlight. It has positive effects on your brain and other aspects of your biology, but it's not going to be high enough in the sky to be able to hit you with UVB to be able to stimulate vitamin D production. So there's a lot of reasons why you should still think about supplementing with vitamin D, even if you're in a region where you get plenty of sun. I live in Southern California. We can make at least some vitamin D through just about all the year, but it's still something that I supplement with, and I find if I don't supplement with it, even though I do spend a fair amount of time out in the sun, because I'm either surfing, and very often I'll wear sunscreen when I'm surfing, or I'm wearing a wetsuit, or just because I maybe don't get outside quite enough and I'm not naked enough during that time outside, my vitamin D ends up being a little bit suboptimal if I'm not supplementing. So I would say get your vitamin D tested, go from a place of knowledge and understanding of what your current biology is like, and make the right decision based on that. And this is definitely something that you want to put the time into understanding how your body's doing with it, because vitamin D optimized has such an incredible impact on so many areas of your health. Thank you guys for joining me today. If you've enjoyed this video and learned anything new, or if you just feel like sharing some good vibes with me and giving me some support, go leave a like down below and subscribe to the channel. I love sharing this kind of fun educational health information with you to give you the power to take your health to a higher level. Thanks again for joining me, and have a wonderful, happy, beautiful, spectacular. This is carrying on a little bit too much, but I can't stop. Have a great day. Look forward to seeing you guys again next time.